Hey WinTech warriors, welcome to WinTech Live. WinTech Live is our new weekly live training session. Each week we cover a new topic to help you on your WinTech HMI application building journey. This live session will run for around 15 minutes, and if you have any questions related to the content being discussed, please wait until after the training session and we will address some of your questions then. Today we'll cover how to troubleshoot device communication issues that are indicated by the appearance of the device no response message. Alright, here it is folks, the dreaded device no response message. This is an indication that a communication error exists within your project. We'll cover some troubleshooting steps to complete when encountering this message. Alright, so here are a few potential causes of communication failure. Incorrect data type. This is typically caused by changes made within the PLC, such as when the data type used by a tag has been changed. An example would be a tag that used to be a real is changed to an int in the PLC. If the new tag type is not synced to the HMI may have a communication error. So if you make any changes to your tags, be sure to re-upload that tag file into your EasyBuilder Pro project. Wrong register type. You may be using the wrong register type for the device register that you intend to read. For example, if you are communicating with a Modbus device that does not support Modbus function code 16, and you use the 4x address type within our software, then you will likely experience a communication error. So if you have any doubts, refer to your device's user manual and the connection guide for that device. And I had mentioned this last week, but if you head to our forum, forum.wintechusa.com, you can view all of our connection guides by selecting PLC support. And here we have a nice list of guides. Clicking on the hyperlink will pull up the device's connection guide. So when you're building a project and you add a device to it, keep that guide handy. It could save you some time troubleshooting. Okay. Register not used in PLC program. A register used within an object may not have been used or made accessible within PLC memory, or when a tag-based PLC, or when using a tag-based PLC, the tag name may have been changed within the PLC project. Okay, so I've added a Rockwell Micro 850 to our project here, and I've got 3 objects that have been assigned 3 tags exported from the PLC program. So let's just pull up our PLC program here, and it's just a simple program, and we've exported these 2 tags, test in and test out. But it seems we've got 3 tags here. So one of these is an imposter. It certainly couldn't be this bad tag. But if we navigate to this page within our project, we immediately see this device no response message. And that indicates that there's an issue on this window, which we'll talk more about that later. And it looks like the tag's missing. And that is a great indicator that there's an issue with, the object's missing. And that's a great indicator that that's the troublesome object. There's an issue with the tag. And in this case, the tag wasn't in our PLC program. So we got the DNR message, and the object is missing from our project. Faulty cabling or network equipment. If the HMI is connected to a device or network using a faulty or damaged Ethernet or serial cable, the flow of data packets could be negatively affected or halted altogether. So always confirm that your cables are intact or plugged in. And if you're using a network switch, confirm that it's still working efficiently. So yeah, just give your cables a visual inspection. If there's any damage, replace it. Make sure everything's plugged in, and check to see if your switch is still functioning as intended, because they do go bad occasionally. Invalid network connection. If you're attempting to communicate with a device via Ethernet, it's possible that the device's IP address was set incorrectly in your EasyBuilder Pro project. Or you could potentially have devices assigned IP addresses on different subnets, which would cause issues in communication. Also, make sure that the IP address assigned to both of the HMI's LAN ports are on separate subnets, or communications could occur. So yeah, even if there's nothing plugged into that LAN port, assign it an IP address that's on a separate subnet from the other LAN port. And here I've got a couple of screenshots here. The first is from our EasyBuilder Pro project, the device settings. We have our PLC's IP address. And below that, I have a screenshot from our PLC software, in this case, Connected Components Workbench. And it has our PLC's IP address. And they don't match, so that's an issue. They will not be able to establish communication. They won't be able to communicate. So what we have to do is just update the IP address in our program to match the actual IP address of our PLC. Incorrect communication parameters. It's possible that device communication settings were configured incorrectly. Referencing the device's connection guide will help eliminate these errors. We recommend setting all optional communication settings to their default values while troubleshooting the DNR message. These options should only be changed if absolutely necessary. And what I've got here are a couple of screenshots. The first was taken from a connection guide, the Rockwell Microwave 50s. And within, you'll see these recommended device settings within each connection guide. And below that, I have a snapshot from our EasyBuilder Pro project. And we do have a bit of a discrepancy here. The port numbers don't match up. So we would have to change this port number to the recommended port number of 44818. And as I said earlier, you want to keep these recommended settings within your project unless it's absolutely necessary to change them. And when troubleshooting, you should change all of the values in your HMI project to the recommended values. Okay. Invalid serial configuration. It's possible that you're using a different serial cable other than the one specified within your EasyBuilder Pro project. So I've got a screenshot here that is from our EasyBuilder Pro project, and if you're using an RS-232 cable and have an RS-485 option selected, then we wouldn't be able to establish communication with the device. So always double check that we've got the right serial cable selected. All right, and within the connection guides, if you scroll down, if you're using a serial cable, if you scroll down to the bottom of the connection guide for that device, you'll have some pin assignment charts here. Click the link to see the serial cable pinout for your device. So yeah, double check that your pinout's okay and that you have the correct serial cable selected within your project. Okay. So if you're seeing the DNR message, device no response, on every window throughout your project, it's likely IP address or cable related, or possibly due to global objects like a macro, PLC control, event alarm object. You'll want to check that the COM settings are correct, and if the issue's still there, you can start removing these global objects within a copy of your project, of course, to help narrow down what may be causing the issue. If the DNR message is IP address or cable related, you can most likely tell because often no data will be transferred and no objects within your project will display. So like we saw earlier, we saw that one of our objects were missing because it had a tag assigned to it that was no longer within our PLC project. And also, like we saw earlier, if the DNR message is only shown on a specific window or windows, check to see if any objects on those windows are missing. If they are, the issue was likely caused by the tag or register mapped to the object. And we saw that earlier with our Micro 850 bad tag. Okay, so you're now prepared to start building your application with an EasyBuilder Pro. I'll now take a few minutes to answer some questions related to the information we've just covered. If you have any questions that's not related to the topics discussed, head to our forum. At forum.wintechusa.com. It's possible that someone else has had that same question and asked it, and either we've answered it or another member of the community have. And also, poke around our YouTube channel. We've got a whole mess of content on there, and there's always something in the works.